Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the GeekWave. This is the low-budget show. It's the show so low, it has no budget. We're back with another all-news video. I've done a couple of these now, and they're pretty cool. They're pretty fun. Because if you don't know, there was a big Investors Day meeting video live stream from Disney's entire office about everything that's coming out soon. And they revealed a lot of shit. So I was planning on doing a regularly scheduled GeekWave this week. I think we'll postpone that and talk about it later. So I'm not going to talk about any of the news for that. I was going to bring up the Warner Brothers releasing their movie stuff, but I think we'll save that for next week because I don't really want to say which one I like more. Do I like Disney's approach more, or do I like Warner Brothers' approach more? I don't really like either of their approaches any less than the other one. So that's fine. And I'm not sure how long I'm going to do the editing for this one. This might just be an off-the-cuff thing, just get it out there and record it. Just because there's a lot to cover, and I got a pretty stacked week. So we're pretty close to Christmas, right? So everyone's going to be kind of busy and kind of doing a lot of stuff. So we got a lot to go through. Like I said, it's all from the Investors Day live stream from Disney, and it's going to be really fun to go through. So I did not get every single thing they talked about, just because we'd be here for 4 hours like they were. But I got a lot of the important stuff I think people would be interested in hearing. Some stuff from Lucasfilm, from Marvel, from Pixar, from Disney itself, from Hulu and FX. There's a lot of fun stuff like that. So let's get into it and let's have fun. I do have a drink with me today. Normally I don't really have a drink because I'm just who needs a drink? But we might be here for a while. I'm not really sure how long. It could be the average length. It could be a longer length or something. I don't know. So I just got my Dr. Pepper with me. So if you hear me having a drink break, that's what that is, because I don't think I'm going to do a lot of editing for this video. I might do the bare minimum like I do sometimes for these longer ones, but you guys already know what to expect when it comes to this kind of format. You know what? We're going to talk about everything. So we'll get into that. Now, before we do get in, I have a couple of housekeeping things I'd like to bring up. First off, I got a couple new series in development on the channel. I did a video talking about them. The first one, coming Monday, is called The Favorite Comics. It's a 15-part series where I go over my favorite comic books of all time, and the first episode will drop on the podcast feed and on YouTube on Monday, where we talk about Kingdom Come. I just recorded that one. It's about 13 to 14 minutes. This is a fun little video just to say why I like something, why I like Mark Waid and all that. So that's one thing to talk about. And the week after that, so Monday, we'll see the release of that. And then the following week, we'll see the release of Movie Tales, which will be the first episode about The Rocketeer, where I do kind of like a caravan of garbage thing and just talk about a movie for a little bit. It's going to be pretty fun. So with those out of the way, let's jump into the reveals from Disney Investor Day. Now, first off, I broke them down into the different categories. They're not in the order that I think we saw them in. They're just in the order that I did them. So there's a couple of things first off from Hulu and FX I want to talk about, but I also kind of want to bring up Disney's got some good numbers. They showed off their numbers. I think it's 86.8 million people are on Disney Plus, 30 million are on Hulu, and another I think 10 million are on ESPN Plus, which is a good idea. They revealed this new feature coming internationally, so it does include Canada for some reason, which I'm kind of interested by that idea, because I never consider us international, but I guess to the United States we are. It's going to be called Star Plus, and this will be a feature National Geographic or Pixar or Marvel, where you can just click the tab and it'll take you to a bunch of more mature content. So that's kind of fun. I'm kind of excited to see how that's going to work and how that will work domestically for the US. So whenever that comes out, I'll probably do a video on it and talk about kind of the stuff that's on there and the shows that we can see and everything. Because it's a nifty idea that's very Disney, so I'm very curious about that. But this is the Hulu and FX portion. So I clumped a lot of it together, just the stuff that I find very interesting. First off, one of the first reveals they did was talking about some new projects from up-and-coming creators or creators that did stuff before. And one of the projects is called Only Murders in the Building. Now, this is a project, I'm pretty sure it's developed for Hulu. I think it's television. And it's going to have Steve Martin and Martin Short. That's fucking awesome. Come on. Who doesn't want to see those guys on the small screen just having fun and chilling out? I feel like it's going to be kind of these guys are in an apartment complex and people are getting murdered and they have to solve the case. And Selena Gomez is going to be in it too. This looks like it's going to be really fun and interesting. I'm very excited to see what this project's going to be. I love these guys, so seeing them come back to this style, I think is pretty cool and exciting. You guys can let me know what you think on that. But I'm just like, yeah, I'll take anything with Steve Martin in it. I miss that guy. I love that guy so much. I just really want to see him in other projects. Another big one there for me was actually the reveal that the Kardashians are getting their own show on Hulu. This was a big... I don't know why this one surprised me so much. I'm like, that must be why they're Keeping Up with the Kardashians show was canceled over on, what was it, MTV? Or was it... Where was their other show on? Who cares? That's really why it was canceled, because they got a better offer for the exact same thing somewhere else. I wonder if it's just going to be called The Kardashians. I could see that being the case. Or Still Up with the Kardashians or something. Good for them. I mean, I'm always happy when people are famous for doing the bare minimum. And now that they can make billions and millions of dollars just off of doing nothing, I think that's really exciting. Good for the Kardashians. Like, they definitely deserve this. Right? We all love them. But I think it's kind of amazing that they're just like, yeah, we'll do it. We'll just have our own show. That's kind of cool, I guess. I'm not against it. And this was a big deal to me, too, when they made this announcement that It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia has been renewed for another 4 seasons. That's going to push the show up to 18 seasons, which will be the longest running in terms of seasons for a, what would they say, single camera sitcom, I think. It's past I can't remember what the show was, but that's amazing. This is the little show that could. Like, it's the one that everybody just lets happen and nobody complains about it. And it's been consistent for 14 years. That's pretty impressive. If anything, it's gotten better in the later half. That's pretty amazing to say that a show that's been on that long has remained that consistent. So 4 more seasons of this show. I am super on board for whatever that's going to look like. I hope everybody comes back to work on it. I love these guys. Rob is such a talented creator. I liked a lot of the stuff he's worked on before. Go check out Mythic Quest Raven's Banquet on Apple TV if you haven't already, because it is amazing. This guy's great. This whole team is great. I love everything about this. And those were kind of like the things they said about Hulu and things like that. I think they said that Handmaid's Tale is coming back for season 5, which is pretty exciting. And we all kind of expected that because a new book came out for that show. But there were some big reveals for FX itself that were coming down the pipeline. One of them being a show that is called Shogun, and it's from I think just one of the producers of Boardwalk Empire, and he directed some of the earlier episodes of Game of Thrones. And it's going to be kind of, they really compared it to Game of Thrones and have that big world feel and everything. I'm very excited for that. I like the idea of going to that feudal era of Japan or wherever it could be and having like a serious take on like the samurai and the characters and have everything be this intense, gritty drama. That would be so cool to see. I would love to see that. I hope it's subtitled. I really hope they don't make everybody speak English. I would love this to be subtitled, and that'd be so fun. Wouldn't that be? Come on, that'd be great. I mean, it'd just be like a Kurosawa feeling thing, and I think a lot of people could be on board for that. But the big reveal to me from the stuff with Hulu and FX was Noah Hawley, the guy who did Fargo, who did Legion, he's probably the smartest man in Hollywood right now, is developing an Alien TV series based on the new Fox property that Disney owns. That is sick. I never thought in my lifetime we would see Alien on TV. That is so cool. So they said this will be the first time that the Alien series takes place on Earth, which is like, that's so cool. I love that idea. I want to see that all day, every day. Noah Hawley is such a visionary guy. He could definitely understand the genre of this and turn it into something insanely cool and different. So I think a lot of people will be like, hell yeah, let's get that. That sounds awesome. Because of course it is. It's such a cool premise. I absolutely love it. So I like that they're taking these Fox properties now and doing something with them. Alien is the obvious one to start with. So before we get other things, I guarantee you we'll get a good Alien series. Maybe that will lead into Predator. Maybe it will lead into something else. Who knows? But that's very exciting. No, aren't they talking about doing a Predator movie? I think there's been talks about doing a different Predator movie with like a different take on it. So that's great. I love seeing these coming in. Marvel just announced they're doing an Alien comic book too. So Alien is coming back in a big way. And I think everybody's going to be really excited for it. So there was a lot of Disney announcements too. And I kind of clumped it all together just because there was so much to talk about. I didn't really know where to start. So these are projects I think they're developing in terms of like their animation stuff, just like for the movies and beyond, and for Disney Plus. A lot of it's for Disney Plus. That's kind of exciting. The first one was they're doing a reboot of the Swiss Family Robinson. That's weird. Isn't that weird? I think it's weird. but I'll watch it. I mean, the Swiss Family Robinson, it seems about right to me that they'd go that route. I hope they kind of bring back some of those old kind of movies and do reboots of them. Things I'd love to see a sequel or a reboot of: The Black Hole. That would be fucking sick to see a new black hole in today's technology. 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. That'd be fucking awesome. I'm just going to keep swearing because these are sick. And Tron. Let's do Tron again and get it right this time. I mean, I liked Legacy, but we should do Tron right. We also saw some more information about Cruella, which is going to be coming. I think they said exclusively to Disney Plus. I can't remember. But you want to sell me on a property. You said it in the 1970s in the high stakes of Paris fashion. And I'm like, yep, you got me sold. You put Emma Stone in there looking like the goth queen she deserves to be. You got me sold. This property sounds fantastic. I'm really excited that we're getting Cruella. That's going to be so cool to see. So interesting because, like, it's Cruella. That's going to be such a different take for a lot of people, and I can't wait to see what that looks like. So we're getting a bunch of other reboots, too, from Disney, which, of course, you are. It's Disney. Of course, there's going to be other reboots. First one being Percy Jackson and the Olympians. We kind of knew this was coming because it's such a hot property, and you want to get your Harry Potter before, Harry Potter becomes obsolete. Makes sense to me. I don't really care for I don't care for Harry Potter, and I don't care for Percy Jackson. I don't like books about kids where their name's in the title. That sounds bad, but we'll see. Maybe this will be good. Maybe it'll be interesting. We'll probably be talking about the Percy Jackson movies at some point, so we'll see what happens there. I don't know if this was announced before or something, but a 3 Men and a Baby reboot starring Zac Efron will be coming to Disney Plus, which is weird. I didn't know Zac would go back to Disney Plus, but hey, makes sense, I guess. I mean, 3 Men and a Baby, I wonder who the other guys are going to be. Who's the equivalent? Okay, it was Ted Danson, Tom Selleck, and who was the other guy? He's one of those guys from TV, right? I can't remember. Who would be the day equivalent? I think Efron would be the Danson. Who's the equivalent of a Tom Selleck today? Would you say like Michael B. Jordan? Yeah, maybe. Interesting. I wonder if Stephen Amell, maybe? Could Stephen Amell be the other guy in here? That'd be interesting. Who's the guy that plays Magnum now? Jay Hernandez. Get him in there. That'd be fun. That'd be really cool. And some more reboots coming down the pipeline. Cheaper by the dozen. Makes sense. It's pretty easy to make. Mighty Ducks makes sense, pretty easy to make. A Night at the Museum kind of reboot that's animated, I'm on board for that. That could be a really cool thing to see. If it's like Camp Creatious, is that what it's called? On, what's that, Netflix? For Jurassic Park, that could be really cool. Where it's like these kids like have a sleepover at a museum. I think that could be fun for a lot of people. And a new property involving Ice Age, which I think it was like Buck Wild, The Adventures of Buck Wild, with Simon Pegg returning to the role. So that's kind of fun. Right? That one to me, I'm like, yeah, I don't really care. I don't need to see that one, but if it's good, it's good, I guess. I don't really have anything else to say on it. Out of all of those ones, I think the one I'd be excited for the most would be Night at the Museum and 3 Men and a Baby, just because they could be different stuff. But the biggest reveal to me in terms of like their live action stuff was the announcement of a Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers movie with Andy Samberg and John Mulaney voicing the characters, respectively. That is such a good idea. They were saying it's going to be like a mix of like your like CGI characters in the real world, and it's going to get into a bunch of hijinks. I'm like, that's awesome. What a great idea to take these characters, and I think it's going to be really fun to see. Both of those guys are really hot properties right now, like Sandberg and Mulaney. People love them. People respect the hell out of them. So having them in here, that's really fun. I actually really like this idea. I think it's going to lead potentially to some more stuff happening with these properties. Like, I'd love to see maybe like a Darkwing Duck movie, but like in some more like contemporary CGI. I mean, I love him in that new DuckTales show, but if we got like a Zootopia looking Darkwing Duck movie making fun of like an old school Batman, that would be so cool to see. I hope this opens the door for a lot more stuff. They also said that Seth Rogen will be doing an additional voice for that. So all I could think of is, oh, he's Monterey Jack, isn't he? He looks so good for that role, even though it's like a cartoon character. He'd be so good at that role, but we'll have to wait and see if that's the case. I love it. I love it so much. Are we going to get Gadget and Zip in here? I'd love to see what they're going to do. This is really fun. I hope this opens the door to the more of those like cartoons coming into this style of animation, and maybe, just maybe, if it's successful, we can open up the potential idea of a Roger Rabbit reboot or sequel, because that's something a lot of people want. So there was some more live action stuff they were talking about. The Lion King 2 came up with Barry Jenkins, which is kind of like a prequel or something. I don't know. I wasn't paying attention to that part. Peter Pan and Wendy is coming. Jude Law's playing Captain Hook. I mean, another Peter Pan. I don't really like any of them. Like, they're just things that exist. So I don't really care. But The Little Mermaid, that's another one that's coming. I think a lot of people are still up in arms about that one. But hey, who gives a shit? It's just a movie that's going to happen. You don't have to watch it if you don't want to. They also said that Raya and the Dragon will be... Raya and the Last Dragon, is that what it's called? Yeah, I think it's The Last Dragon. That movie will be coming to Disney Plus, like early access, in March, the same day it's supposed to be released in theaters. And we did get confirmation that Soul will be coming out on Christmas Day. I know that's Pixar, but I just wanted to confirm that so you guys know that it's happening. So that's pretty much all the live action stuff. It all sounds pretty interesting, actually. A lot of like known properties that I think people will be excited for. But that's kind of what Disney is. They take stuff that's already existing and they make you want to see more versions of it. So stay tuned for that shit, I guess. It could be really fun or it could be different. I don't know. Either way, I'm going to watch it. I'm going to like it. I'll probably review all of them except for Percy Jackson. But I'll talk about the other Percy Jackson movies. So then there was some of the animated stuff coming from Disney Plus, and it wasn't as big because animation's a little harder to do. And it's going to be pretty exciting to see what comes down that pipeline. So we got confirmation on a few television series that will be coming to Disney Plus. The first one being a Big Hero 6 spin-off with Baymax in the lead. Each episode will see Baymax working with different people. That's fun. I mean, I don't have any problem with that. I'm not a Big Hero 6 guy. It's a good movie, but it's not one I actively seek out to want to keep watching or go back to. So it's fine. I think people will enjoy that if you're a fan of Big Hero 6. That's cool. A Zootopia series starring some, what they say, it had some really kitschy name that was just like a bunch of like dancing with the Beastars or something. I don't remember. It's like a bunch of little snippets of different characters in the world. It's going to be for people, I guess. Real Housewives of Bunny Hill or something. It's not Judy or Nick. So that's all you need to know. But everyone else will be in it. We just couldn't get Jason Bateman back. That's probably it exactly. They're like, hey, Jason, you want to do like a detective show as your Fox? He's like, nah, I'm going to finish Ozark and win my awards. And we got a Moana show that will be coming at some point. No really word on what that's going to look like, but it's on the horizon. There's also a 2-dimensional animation series in the work from Princess and the Frog alums, and it's going to be called Tiana, and it's going to be like her story back in her hometown. This sounds dope to me. I kind of hope it's very like festive and musical because I love the setting of that world. That's one of my favorite Disney movies, actually, is Princess and the Frog. It's just so cool and different compared to a lot of the other ones they've done. Absolutely love it. I hope it's going to be cool. And they also announced this property from these Nigerian animators whose names escape me at the moment. I should have written their names down because I'd love to credit these guys. But they are doing this property called Uwaju, and I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce that, but it's supposed to mean the future in Nigerian, I believe. And man, does it look cool. It's going to be like this really interesting, different series that I don't think Disney has really tackled before. I'm very curious to see how that's going to look. I think something about it just spoke really true and interesting to me. I cannot wait to see that. I love new concepts when they take these risks and do different things, and I cannot wait to see what this one's going to be. So Uwaju, I hope it's something that sticks around and we get more stuff like this from Disney, just because I want to see different ideas being told from stuff we probably wouldn't see if we didn't have Disney with us. And we got another, I think they said this was a movie that's going to be coming to theaters theatrically. It's called Encanto, and it's going to be, or Encanto? Maybe it's one of those ones. It's set in, was this the one in Italy? No, the other one was in Italy. This is in Colombia, I think. They didn't reveal a lot of it, but it's going to be like a really festive musical thing. And we're going to get a good soundtrack. I can already guarantee it. Was this the one Lin-Manuel Miranda's on? Yes? I don't know. Hamilton Boy's doing one of them. This one or the Pixar one. He's doing one of them. But that's pretty exciting. I can't wait to see what that's going to be like. I love Disney, man. I know they just laid off like 30,000 people, and I shouldn't have brought it up because now it's going to put people in a bad mood. But I still think they do a lot of really interesting properties and projects that you don't really see anywhere else. And they're all family friendly, which I really enjoy because I don't think everything needs to be hardcore. I don't. So I like that a lot. And I just forgot, before we end the things talking about the Disney animated and Disney live action stuff, they announced a sequel to Enchanted, and Amy Adams will be returning. It's going to be called Disenchanted, and I think a lot of people really want this to happen, so it's very exciting that it's coming, and I cannot wait to see what that's going to look like. I don't give two shits, but some people might, so let's remember that's in there too. That's fun. So that's the, wholly Disney stuff. That's everything that's strictly from their production companies and their animation studios. And let's get into some more of the stuff I think people are here to see. Starting with Pixar, there was not a lot announced for Pixar. Like I said earlier, Soul's coming to Disney Plus on Christmas Day, so I'll probably watch that over Wonder Woman because I don't think theaters are open where I am and I don't have HBO Max. So that'll be fun. And they have another couple things here, one of them being Dug Days, which is a spin-off of Up, focused on the dog. And it actually looks really cute. The animation looks so much cleaner than it did back when Up came out. The fur just looks so good on the dog. I'm very excited to see what this one's going to look like. I actually laughed watching the little clip they showed us where he's trying to play with these other puppies. I think it was pretty cool. And we're also getting a original series from the creators of, what they say, Inside Out, I think was the creators of this one. It's going to be called Win or Lose. So it's going to be the perspective of this junior baseball team at a middle school, I think. And each episode is going to be focused on a different person, how one person interprets something differently. So that's a cool concept, I think, for kids to figure out, different skills and how to, be sociable and stuff. It's hey, just because you didn't like something, maybe somebody else enjoyed it. That's a good way to show people that kind of interesting stuff. I think that's a really fun concept. I really do think that's going to make a lot of people happy. And then we had Luca, which is their Italy movie. I don't know why. I was just it's like Call Me By Your Name, even though it's not like Call Me By Your Name because I was in France or something. This looks really fun. It's just going to be a dude going around Italy with his best friend. They're just going to chill and have a good time. That's going to be really fun. I really want to see what that one's going to look like because it's just going to be really different and just cute. I can't wait to see it. I think that's going to be really interesting, really creative, and I cannot believe we're getting some of these properties. I saved the best one for last when it came to Pixar, because this is the one that excites me the most out of all of these. This is probably actually, I think, we'll get to the bigger stuff later that I know a lot of people will be excited for, but this one might be the biggest reveal to me next to Chip and Dale's for stuff that's not Star Wars or Marvel. Disney and Pixar are working on a Buzz Lightyear spin-off movie called Lightyear. It's going to focus on the hero of Buzz Lightyear. It's not going to be about the toy. This is the concept, the origin story. So they would be if this existed, you would buy the toy based off having this existed. So that's what this is going to be. The still they showed looks so good. It just gives me back to these old school science fiction feels with bright colors, cool sets, and interesting characters. And I love that he's not a toy. So we're actually be yeah, we're doing a hardcore science fiction space epic with a Buck Rogers type character. And he's going to be voiced by Chris Evans. That's right. Tim Allen is not coming back. We're getting Chris Evans to play Buzz Lightyear in a really cool looking movie. This was such a cool reveal. I am super excited to see what this is going to look like. I think out of all of the stuff, like I said, this one is right up my alley, right up my radar. I don't know what that means. But I'm just so excited to see this because I love classic science fiction. That's why I'm doing Galactic Tales on this channel of The Rocketeer. I love this idea. It just reminds me of a Flash Gordon style thing. I cannot wait to see that or see what that's going to be. Man, that's exciting. So let's get into the stuff that I think everyone's here to see. We'll start with the Lucasfilm information. Now, none of this is in order of what was revealed or not. It's just how I put them in my notes. A lot of good shit revealed. Indiana Jones 5, that's coming. It's coming. Willow will be getting a series on Disney Plus. We all thought that was going to happen. They've been talking about it for ages, so I guess it's kind of cool they're finally doing it. And of course, they are doing an adaptation of Children of Blood and Bone. I guess that's a book series that people like or they don't like. Either way, that's fun. I mean, I like Willow enough that I'll be excited to see it. I like Indiana Jones enough. I don't like a 75-year-old Harrison Ford running around trying to be an action hero anymore, but I still go see it. I'd still go see it. So let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we are going to get into all the information people are excited to see, and that is Star Wars and Marvel. So I did decide to break this up into 2 videos. If you guys be patient with me, and eventually, probably later today, I will upload the second half, which is dedicated to Star Wars and Marvel.